Continuing from the previous episode 265. Damn it, I didn't expect this Ghost Emperor to actually master ghost skills. Even among the 9 Ghost Emperors, there are only a few people who can use the legendary ghost skills. The 9 Soul Steel also said viciously. It seems that I still underestimate the power of the twin Ghost Emperors. Chang Yu also said coldly. Originally, Wu Zhang felt that this point-grabbing competition would not be so simple, so the secret letter was passed on to their deputy pavilion owner, Chang Yu. A strong man at the peak of the 7-star Do Emperor. When Hongpao Chang Yu came to this infernal corpse forest, he also floated in the dark, in order to give this infernal corpse a fatal blow at a critical moment. But what Chang Yu didn't expect was that the power of the twin Ghost Emperors was stronger than he imagined. When he confronted and sealed the twin Ghost Emperors, Chang Yu just happened to be absent, so his estimate of the power of this ghost was wrong. Damn it. Is there no other way? Hu Du also snorted coldly, then looked at the blood-colored vortex above the sky. The blood-colored vortex above the sky, although a small gap was opened by a few of them, and then was attacked by the 9 Souls Monument with the immortal sword, but apart from the reduced ghost energy, it did not achieve other more powerful effects. The sturdy degree of this blood-colored vortex, the terror has reached the level of the 8th-ranked Do Emperor. Even if we do our best, we still need 5 7-star Do Emperor-level powerhouses to join forces to open it up. Chang Yu also secretly regretted, obviously if he had appeared earlier, then this kind of thing should not have happened. 5. The 9 Soul Monument also shook its head at this time. Obviously, the people here now have lost Xiaoyi, who has no fighting power and no fighting spirit, and the 9 Soul Monument itself is adding Chang Yu, and there are only 3 7-star Do D. The powerhouse, with the addition of Tianwo Shengu and Hu Du, 2 5-star fighting emperors, and a 6-star fighting emperor in Wuzhang, it is obviously difficult to deal with the blood-colored vortex in front of him. You can only go first. Otherwise, it will be troublesome after the evil spirit regains its power. Chang Yu also stopped when he was cut off. Wu Zhang and Hu Du. Where are you going? Some of our team members who participated in this competition have been arrested by these people in the ghost world. You hurry up and rescue them. Chang Yu said coldly. Hu Du and Wu Zhang also shook their heads, then flew in the direction of a Chang Yu finger. With the departure of Hu Du and Wu Zhang, the fighting spirits of the 9 Souls Monument above the sky and Chang Yu gradually calmed down. In this way, it was obvious that they had given up their resistance. Hey, I can only escape first. Chang Yu also shook his head, his eyes filled with disbelief. Obviously this time it was his own negligence. I can't blame you for that. The 9 Souls Monument also spoke slowly. Obviously, the 9 Souls Monument, which has been sealed for thousands of years, did not expect the twin Ghost Emperors to be so terrifying. Tianwo Shengu, you did a good job this time. After you go out, you will be able to regain your freedom. The 9 Soul Monument also said slowly. Thank you, Senior, Tianwo Shengu said respectfully. After all, he is also a kind of monster. It was only by chance that he entered the infernal corpse forest, but it was easy to get in and hard to get out. Mu Yingying ignored the conversation between the three, and her beautiful eyes turned slightly in a meeting between the blood-colored vortex above the sky and Xiaoyan behind her. Xiaoyan, what the asterisk are you doing? Mu Yingying also bit her lip, and obviously found Xiaoyan's actions, but what she just couldn't understand was that Xiaoyan, a boy with the strength of the 4-star Do D in the early stage, how could he have the courage to deal with this twin Ghost Emperor who is as powerful as an 8-star duty? Although it is said that the twin Ghost Emperors at this time have suffered a lot of injuries, and their strength has entered the time of exhaustion, but they are also genuine 8th-grade Ghost Emperors, comparable to the powerhouses of the human 8-star fighting emperor level. Mu Yingying only saw that the blood-colored vortex above the sky continued to expand, and more ghosts kept pouring in, and the gap originally opened by Chang Yu and the others was instantly filled. In the dark, Mu Yingying can also feel that in the blood-colored vortex, a ghost like a heaven-shattering devil is being absorbed by the evil spirits. Once the blood-black vortex is completely transformed into black, then go to the corpse forest. Doomsday. On the other side, Xiaoyan was sitting in the air, his hands were separated from left to right, and a very delicate lotus seed in the center of his hands was slowly standing up, but at this time Xiaoyan's eyes were closed, and his hands wanted to close to varying degrees. It was obviously blocked by an inexplicable force, so the speed was very slow. Above the sky, there was silence. On the ground at this time, Mu Feng and Yu Yu had both experienced a great battle, and the fighting qi in their bodies had also been consumed a lot, so their strength had also been weakened to varying degrees. Yueru, go! After Mu Feng finished speaking, he also flew in one direction. Yueru didn't say much, because when Mu Feng had just rumored, she told Yueru that she had received orders from Wu Zhang to rescue their participants this time. If those caught are not rescued, once they are merged with evil, the consequences will be too terrifying. Where are they going? Luo Guang also looked at Mu Feng and Mu Feng tiredly, and apparently also discovered that the Yin Corpse Forest couldn't recover his grudge. The battle just now was spent to protect the remaining people. Too much? I don't know, but now we are grasshoppers on a rope. It's better to be together. Chu Wanyao also said coldly. Obviously, although he didn't like several people at this time, Chu Wanyao was also a smart person. Both Mu Feng and Yueru possessed some high-level pills to restore Do Link to QIWWW.novelmtl.com, and they didn't dare to offend them easily with their current Do Qi. Let's go! After speaking, the group of people on the ground followed Yueru and Mu Feng, and together with Wu Zhonghu Du, they moved in the opposite direction to rescue those who were caught. Shabu Shabu. At this time, the sky was covered with dark clouds, and the blood-black vortex had grown to a certain extent and then stopped, but an extremely terrifying giant face also appeared in the vortex. Su, you humans just wait to die. Ha ha ha. The ferocious giant face is the face of the previous twin ghost emperors. Xinya 81 Zhang Huiyan Wang Yu, Kai 8, approximately 1 ZS, Coem, Humph. Chang Yu also snorted coldly, and then an extremely terrifying Do Qi cage instantly moved towards the giant face in the blood-colored vortex. Bang bang bang. When the terrifying Do Qi cage just touched the blood-colored vortex, it was suddenly swallowed up. It's time to go. Chang Yu also shook his head, and then no longer hesitated. His vindictive aura was instantly pushed to the extreme, and then he waved gently towards the space in front of him. It's just strange that the space in front of him is not turbulent. What's wrong? The Nine Soul Monument also said, exhausted. This space seems to be imprisoned. Chang Yu also said with an ugly expression. Ask for tickets. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 266. What? Now it was the Nine Souls Monument's turn to be surprised. The space is imprisoned, unexpectedly, what the two of them are not clear about. Once the space is imprisoned, unless it is a strong man at the level of Do Xian, it is impossible to break the restriction of this space. Damn it. Why is this space imprisoned? Isn't it okay when you came in? The Nine Souls Monument also said angrily. Don't get excited. It should have appeared when the twin ghost emperors used their ghost skills before. I'm still careless. Chang Yu also said with a look of resentment. Then he looked at the ferocious giant face above the sky and fell into contemplation. Su, provoking me to the ghost world is the end of it. You guys just wait for me to be swallowed up by me after my strength has recovered to the peak, and become a part of my ghost world. The harsh laughter also came from the giant face. Is there really nothing I can do now? Tianwo Shengu also muttered. Xinya 81 Zhang Huiyan Wang Yu, Kai 8.1 ZS, Coem, after a while, they will rescue the others. You go first, I will take care of the rest. Chang Yu also said solemnly. Obviously, the power in front of him is beyond Chang Yu's control, but the greater the ability, the greater the responsibility, so Chang Yu did not shirk at all, and took the next banner. What is this kid Xiaoyan doing? The weak Nine Souls Monument also noticed Xiaoyan at the side, and just saw Xiaoyan. His pupils shrank tightly. A force that made him extremely fearful was there. Xiaoyan was born slowly in his hands. This power is. The Nine Soul Monument was also excited. There must be treasures under the soul-suppressing monument. This is unchanged from the ancient times, but although the Nine Soul Monument has guarded the twin ghost emperors for thousands of years, they still don't know what treasures are in the soul-suppressing monument. However, there is no doubt that the treasure in the Soul Requiem monument that he guards has the power to restrain the twin ghost emperors. In other words, the things in the soul-suppressing monument that he guards are the things that the twin ghost emperors are afraid of. At this time, the Nine-Soul Monument also felt a familiar smell from Xiaoyan in the soul-requiring monument that he guarded. If it is normal, the Nine-Soul Steel also thinks that Xiaoyan can't do anything, but what the Nine-Soul Steel knows is that Xiaoyan is not only recognized by the treasures in the soul-requiring steel that he guards. Still a disciple of the Golden Dragon King. Even if any of these two identities are released, they will be looted. Because the treasures that can restrain ghosts in the ghost world are rare, let alone let the treasures take the initiative to recognize the owner, which is even more rare. And in other words, the strength, identity and status of the Golden Dragon King are the best among the 7 realms. Being able to be apprenticed by such a strong man really shows how extraordinary this Xiaoyan is. This kid Xiaoyan is really interesting. I hope you can bring us some miracles. The Nine-Soul Steel also said slowly. Then after finishing speaking, his eyes were slightly closed, and the last remaining power in his body was also madly pouring into Xiaoyan. At this time, in order to integrate the powers of these 3, Xiaoyan was using almost all his Do Qi. Even with the support of high-level pills that restored Do Qi, he was still struggling to support it. However, with the appearance of an extremely pure force from the Nine-Soul Monument, it also relieved Xiaoyan a lot of pressure, and the compression action in his hand became faster. Nine-Soul Monument, you are. Chong Yu also seemed to have noticed the movement of the Nine-Soul Monument, and then said, "Since this is the end of the matter, then I'll take a gamble." The Nine-Soul Steel also said slowly, and then the power was still being delivered continuously. The power in this kid. Chong Yu didn't notice it just now, but now he turned around and saw that the power in Xiaoyan's body caused all the ghosts to shy away. This is unheard of. Even if it is as strong as his 7-star Do Emperor powerhouse, he cannot achieve this level. What the asterisk is going on? Chong Yu was also surprised. This kid is the choice of what's in the Tablet of the Soul. The Tablet of 9 Souls also said slowly. Okay, since that's the case, then I'll help you too. After Chong Yu finished speaking, an extremely pure power surged out instantly, and then gathered into Xiaoyan's body. With the influx of 2 extremely pure powers, Xiaoyan's power also skyrocketed at this time. The middle stage of the 4-star Do D. The late 4-star Do D. The late stage of the 6-star Do D. Impressively soared to the level of a 6-star fighting emperor. However, Xiaoyan didn't have time to rejoice. After all, he also knew that this sudden power was only to solve the immediate predicament. At this time, he could not care about any other sequelae. When the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger saw this, he just wanted to follow suit, but unexpectedly, the giant face in the blood-colored vortex suddenly opened violently, and then he seemed to have discovered Xiaoyan's actions, and a shocking fluctuation was quietly brewing. Not good. Tianwo Shengu shouted loudly, then rushed out, and then ignored the attack that was still brewing. Humph! A beast, just looking for death. The giant face snorted coldly, and then an extremely terrifying black air instantly enveloped the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger. At this time, the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger, with red flames all over his body, faced the pitch-black attack without a single step, with a fierce look in his eyes, staring at the terrifying attack in the mouth of that giant face. Because the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger knew that Xiaoyan's attack was their last chance. If they were destroyed when Xiaoyan was gaining momentum, then their consequences would be irreversible. So no matter what you say, you can't let this attack come out. Then go to hell, the giant face also said savagely, and then the terrifying ghostly energy was instantly besieged, and it would drown the entire body of the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger in a blink of an eye. Hee. Don't forget me, Big Tiger. A silver bell-like smile also appeared on Tianwo Shengu. With the appearance of Mu Yinying, the ghost chi that was about to drown the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger was also instantly evaporated, but on Mu Yinying's body, an azure flame was also beating slowly. The Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger looked up, and it was Mu Yinying. What are you doing here? Go back in danger. Tianwo Shengu also snorted link to coldly www.novelmtl.com I don't want it. Since everyone has contributed, I can't be idle, and I will intercept this asterisk color with you. The evil in the vortex. Mu Yinying also said casually. When Tianwo Shengu looked at Mu Yinying, he also had some inadvertent touches. Let's go. Mu Yinying also said a word, and then the two of them walked away towards the giant face in the blood-colored vortex, trying to stifle its attack in the cradle. This power. The giant face in the blood-colored vortex also turned his attention to Mu Yingying. The blue flame on Mu Yingying's body just now made him feel quite frightened. Go to hell. The giant face also turned the attack into a target, completely ignoring Xiaoyan's movements, and went towards Mu Yingying's terrifying attack. The attack of the giant face condensed. At this time, it has no less than a full-strength blow that is comparable to that of a 5-star human fighting emperor. Just as the terrifying attack came, Mu Yingying pushed away the heavenly fire sacred tiger, and the terrifying attack also hit Mu Yingying in an instant, and Mu Yingying was too late to defend. The flames seemed to be rendered by the black aura of ghost qi. Just when it was about to attack Mu Yingying's body, a milky white light exploded instantly, dispersing the huge ghost qi attack in one fell swoop. Dare to kill my sister-in-law? After doing all this, an extremely hearty laughter also echoed in the space. With the sound of this voice, Xiaoyan, who was not far away, also felt that a very familiar aura seemed to return. Ask for tickets. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 267. Who are you? The ferocious giant face in the blood-colored vortex also snorted coldly. Hey, you don't care who I am, but it's not your turn to kill this woman. The man also smiled heartily. A rather handsome young man also appeared above the sky. With the appearance of the young man, Xiaoyan's tightly closed eyes also became somewhat moist. Big brother, a voice that ran through the entire infernal corpse forest also appeared, and then several people in the sky saw the young man heading towards the place where Xiaoyan was. It's good to wake up. Xiaoyan also moved the corner of his mouth slightly, and then said lightly, but the excitement contained in his voice could not be concealed. The young man in front of him looked like that Xiaoyi in Xiaoyan's body. Xiaoyi's body is the pure lotus demon fire, but after merging the 23 kinds of flames, she has also produced some mutations that even her master, the Golden Dragon King, did not know, and became a fire elf. And after the first transformation, Xiaoyi also grew from a baby to a handsome young man. The strength has also improved qualitatively. Are you all right? It will take some time. Then leave it to me. Xiaoyan and Xiaoyi, who were in the sky, were talking. After the conversation between the two souls ended, Xiaoyi was also heading towards the *** whirlpool. You, who did you say is your sister-in-law? Mu Yingying said angrily at this time. Obviously, although Xiaoyi helped her resist an attack, she was able to resist it at the time, but she would expose some things. And then was shocked by Xiaoyi's words. A girl, a lady, is the most important thing, and it is reasonable to be angry when this man makes such a scene. Ha ha ha, misunderstanding and misunderstanding. Xiaoyi tried her best to get rid of it. Obviously, the relationship between the woman in front of her and her eldest brother Xiaoyan was her own mistake. But you can't blame yourself, can you? The flame aura on his eldest brother Xiaoyan's body is very huge, and he is also a fire elf, and the flame aura on Mu Yingying's body is also quite friendly to the two of them, which is why Xiaoyi misunderstood. Humph, why don't you give me an explanation? This is not over. Mu Yingying bit her lips slightly, then looked at the blood-colored vortex above the sky, and found that the evil giant face in the blood-colored vortex was also very surprised. Are you all right? The heavenly fire sacred tiger on the side was also extremely worried, skipping the place where Mu Yingying was, and said heavily. Yeah. Mu Yingying also pondered. How could you just do that? Do you know that you can do it like that? The heavenly fire sacred tiger also wanted to anger Mu Yingying just now, but found that Mu Yingying's beautiful eyes exuded a slight pride. Tianwo Shengu shook his head, and then looked at the sinister giant face in the blood-colored vortex not far away. This is Fire Elf. Chong Yu and Juhun Steel, who were on the spot, also opened their eyes, and then they saw the identity of this man. This kid has more and more secrets. The Nine Soul Steel also murmured in a low voice, and then no longer hesitated, and injected the last breath of the past into Xiaoyan's body. It's actually a fire elf. The giant face in the blood-colored vortex was also slightly startled, and then said. Although the giant face was slightly surprised, he could find that the ghosts around Xiaoyi were also very afraid of his flames, and immediately became contemplative. The flames on the woman and this man are not ordinary things. The giant face looked at it for a while, and then without hesitation, the giant face disappeared in the blood-colored vortex, and then the terrifying blood-colored vortex also slowly moved towards the black vortex change. Yin Xie also understands that the situation at this time is no longer under his control. For now, he can only absorb the ghost energy in this blood-colored vortex and restore it to his peak. Then these people outside are also dying. After all, this infernal corpse forest has been manipulated by himself, and it is impossible to escape except for those who are at the level of fighting immortals. As for his ghost skill, the *** vortex condensed by the fear of death, even a full-strength blow from an 8-star Do Emperor powerhouse would not be enough, not to mention the few people in front of him who were less than a % of Do Qi. However, my ghost skill has a fatal flaw, and the power of any evil soldier in the ghost world can easily destroy it. But Yin Xie didn't think about it either. After all, he had never seen any of the 12 evil soldiers in the ghost world, let alone these humans. Moreover, Yin Xie also found that the aura of this man is not weak, and now the injured self is not his opponent. It's really fast. Xiaoyi shook her head slightly, and then returned to Xiaoyan. Xiaoyi was also very kind to Xiaoyan. After all, since she remembered, she has always been the one with a heavy weight on her back. The man is protecting himself, walking all the way. Xiaoyan sat cross-legged, and the two extremely terrifying invisible forces in front of him were also merged. What appeared in front of Xiaoyan now was an improved version of the Lotus of Quiet, which was based on the Lotus of Quietness, plus the power of the soul and the compression of the power of the soul. Of course, there are some mysterious powers of the Soul Eater talisman. A rather delicate lotus seed was also slowly distributed in Xiaoyan's hands. Success? Xiaoyi also asked. Well, it worked. Xiaoyan seemed to be understating link to itwww.novelmtl.com, but only he knew the hardships involved. Fortunately, he had the mysterious power of the Soul Eater talisman, otherwise Xiaoyan would be unimaginable. There is a little problem with the fusion between them, so his end is quite miserable. That's... Mu Yingying also turned around, and then her beautiful eyes stared at the delicate lotus seeds in Xiaoyan's hands. How can there be such a dazzling feeling? Mu Yingying also looked away. It seemed that when Mu Yingying stared at the beautiful lotus seed, her beautiful eyes were sluggish, as if the seemingly small beautiful lotus seed it contains an extremely terrifying power that shocks people's souls. That lotus seed. This kid has such a terrifying fighting skill. The Nine Souls Steel also had a savage gaze, and at a glance he recognized the Lotus of Desolation in Xiaoyan's hands, but even with the strength of the Nine Souls Steel, he looked at the desolation in Xiaoyan's hands. When I was in the Lotus, there was also an unnatural feeling in the depths of my soul, which seemed to be because of the Lotus of Silence. Xinya 81 Zhang Wian Wang Wu, Kai 8, approximately 1 ZS, Coem. Although it's the first time I've used it, I'm confident that it won't be a problem to seriously injure the twin ghost emperors who are now injured. Xiaoyan also smiled slightly, then quickly devoured the medicinal pill to restore the fighting spirit in his body, although the fusion was completed. But more difficult to come. It's just how to break through the ghost technique of the twin ghost emperors, the defense of the blood-colored vortex of fear of death. Xiaoyan also pondered. Obviously, they only have one chance at this time, and the opportunity cannot be missed, so they must be cautious. Ask for tickets. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 268. The Nine Souls Monument and Changyu were also condensed slightly when they heard the words. Obviously, when Xiaoyan was condensing the terrifying fighting skills just now, the two of them said that all the fighting energy in their bodies was transferred to Xiaoyan. Do Qi is also rare and pitiful. Hearing Xiaoyan's words, his eyes narrowed slightly. It was Mu Yingying and the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger, who still had a lot of power. Don't worry, leave it to us. Mu Yingying also patted her ** slightly, and then assured Xiaoyan. It was obvious that the terrifying fighting skills in Xiaoyan's hands had already made the arrogant Mu Yingying look at her with admiration. Then I'll leave it to you. All you have to do is pretend to attract attention, and we'll do the rest. Xiaoyi also said with a heavy expression. Okay. Mu Yingying agreed cheerfully, and then went straight to the Scarlet Vortex with the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger. Are you sure? Xiaoyi also asked. It's less than the second floor, after all, the defensive power of this ** whirlpool is too terrifying. Xiaoyan said without any concealment. What if you add me? Xiaoyi also laughed suddenly, and then it turned into a milky white light and merged into Xiaoyan's body. Huh? Xiaoyan also didn't understand the meaning of what Xiaoyi said, but out of trust, he let Xiaoyi use it. As Xiaoyi entered Xiaoyan's body again, Xiaoyan also felt an extremely terrifying power slowly flowing from his limbs. At this time, Xiaoyan's strength was still at the peak level of the 6-star Do Emperor. Xiaoyi's possession gave Xiaoyan the power of a more terrifying and violent flame. However, these powers were also great supplements for Xiaoyan. After the final tempering, it also transformed into his own fighting spirit. Before Xiaoyan could rejoice, he heard Xiaoyi's voice. Brother, my flame is no longer the original flame. Xiaoyi's voice also echoed in Xiaoyan's mind. Xiaoyan also knew that when Xiaoyi took out the crystal from her body just now, she found that the flame aura on Xiaoyi's body had changed a lot, and it seemed that there was some spirituality in the flame. And Xiaoyan also knows that this kind of possession is also attached to his body, and both are prosperous. I already have spirituality. The next time I evolve, I should be able to compete with Shengen. Xiaoyi's voice also said slowly. Holy flame, wait for me. After Xiaoyan finished speaking, his breath suddenly soared. Xiaoyan had absorbed the vindictive energy of Juhun Monument and Chongyu before, but now adding Xiaoyi's strength, Xiaoyan's strength has skyrocketed. The power of the 7-star Do D in the early stage. It has fully increased the power of 3 steps. This was something Xiaoyan had never thought of. And this boosting power is just the same as the refreshing power of the secret method. It is the purest power of the 9-soul monument and Chongyu. It is only limited by time, and it will not leave any sequelae. This is the root of Xiaoyan's daring to let go. With the soaring strength, Xiaoyan also had a solid armor on top of his body. The flames were burning on the fire armor, and there were some mysterious runes that were quite mysterious, as if they had the power to devour all evil. At this time, Xiaoyan in the sky also smiled knowingly, and then felt this terrifying power, an unheard of power slowly condensed under the attack of Mu Yingying and the heavenly fire Holy Tiger. This kid is really beyond my expectations. The Golden Dragon King also said in his heart, and then went silent, and Long Yi was also warned by the Golden Dragon King and did not help Xiaoyan. After all, according to the Golden Dragon King, this kid still has a long way to go in the future, so he can't help him blindly. However, the two of them are always ready. If Xiaoyan has any problems, then the two of them will take action without hesitation. Shabu, Tianwo Shengu and Mu Yingying surrounded the blood-colored vortex in the sky one after the other, and then Mu Yingying exuded a terrifying blue flame, while Tianwo Shengu a fiery red flame, but the fiery red flame also contains a very small azure power. Strange, why is the flame on this woman a little strange? If it is the power of holy flame, the power is too small, but compared to ordinary flames, it is also too powerful. In the blood-colored vortex, Yin Xie also sat cross-legged, and then countless blood-colored vortexes the ghost qi is also continuously injected into the body of the yin evil. With the injection of ghost qi, some small wounds on Yin Xie's body are slowly healing, and then his strength is also slowly recovering. Boom boom boom! Mu Yingying and Tianwo Sacred Tiger attacked one after the other. The huge flame power shook away the ghost qi at the very edge of the blood-colored vortex, but the next moment, the monstrous ghost qi was also in the sky. Degree to complete it. Boom boom boom! Mu Yingying and Tianwo Sacred Tiger's tireless attacks didn't seem to be very effective, but the two of them were not discouraged at all, and they continued to attack with the fighting spirit in their bodies. Waste! The evil spirit in the blood-colored vortex also snorted coldly, and then stopped looking outside, absorbing the monstrous ghost energy. How come there are so many? Hu Du couldn't help but said, the human beings like a hill in front of him were also piled up. Yueru, who came along, bit her lips slightly, and was obviously frightened by the situation in front of link to herwww.novelmtl.com. A human like a hill. If it wasn't for Hu Du's words and breath, then it's a pile of corpses. It made people's hearts heavy. Shabu shabu. Hu Du and Wu Zhong circulated their auras, and then an extremely gentle force spread through everyone's body, and then some small black auras evaporated from the people who were arrested. Are these all the people who participated in this point-grabbing competition? Yueru couldn't help but said. It should be almost. Fortunately, we came in time, otherwise if we were one step later. Mu Feng also said. Afterwards, Chu Huo Nio and Luo Guang also put down the hill like people one after another. Fortunately, they have all slowly woken up. This point-grabbing competition is really humble and twists and turns. If I go out this time. Hu Du also shook his head secretly. Obviously, the planning and process this time were quite imperfect. That's in the sky. Wu Zhang looked up at the sky after eliminating the black ghosts in everyone's body, but was surprised to find that a very terrifying fluctuation was also from a person in the sky wearing a fire. The figure of the armor radiates out. Xiaoyan, you can definitely do it. Yueru closed her eyes after speaking, apparently praying for Xiaoyan in her heart. The other people who were in the top 10 of the points-grabbing competition were also looking at the sky with different expressions. At this time, the people caught in the corpse forest also slowly woke up, and then almost all of them raised their heads and looked at the huge blood-colored vortex in the sky and a flaming figure wearing fire armor. The sword is coming. The figure in the flame armor spoke slowly. Ask for a ticket. Set a small goal first, such as 1 second to remember. Shukju mobile version reading website. Continuing from the previous episode 269. The sword is coming. After finishing speaking, the figure in the terrifying flame armor in the sky raised one hand high, and then the whole body was instantly set ablaze by milky white flames. Immediately, in Xiaoyan's hand, an ancient sword engraved with mysterious ancient runes also appeared in his hand. As soon as the ancient sword came out, the evil in the blood-colored vortex also suddenly opened his eyes, and then looked at Xiaoyan, who was wearing fire armor, with disbelief. This extremely pure power of purification is... How is that possible? Yin Xie couldn't help but said. At this time, the evil had already shrunk in the blood-colored vortex. After all, he had just broken through the seal and was joined by these humans again, and the ghost energy in his body was very weak. It was only when Xiaoyan and Xiaoyi were possessed that Yin Xie felt an extremely terrifying aura coming from the ancient sword. Although I don't know what method you used to forcibly increase to the strength of the 7-star Do Emperor, but if you think about it, it will have a great impact on your future. Pretend to be a ghost. Do you think this emperor will be afraid of you as a human being of the 7-star fighting emperor? A voice full of disdain also appeared in the blood-colored whirlpool. It's just that since the twin ghost emperors can become ghost emperors, their suspicious and cautious personality also exudes an extremely evil aura that surrounds the blood-colored vortex. Although Xie Yin was not afraid of Xiaoyan's attack, the attack of a 7-star Do Emperor powerhouse was not enough to break the defense of this blood-colored vortex. Boom boom boom! The terrifying milky white flame penetrated from Xiaoyan's body and limbs, and then gathered on the top of Xiaoyan's head. At this time, Xiaoyan held the milky white ancient sword in both hands, and a strong wave formed. Although this attack is powerful, the *** whirlpool against this ghost skill is also. Xiaoyi's voice also appeared in Xiaoyan's mind. I know, Xiaoyan also said with a smile, and the next moment, almost all the soul power in his body suddenly emerged, and he walked away from the palm of his hand. In the palm of his hand, an extremely delicate lotus seed was also hidden by Xiaoyan. This, sure enough, it's a good idea. Xiaoyi praised Xiaoyan's actions when she saw Xiaoyan's actions. What is this kid doing? Xiaoyan mobilized his huge soul power and naturally did not escape Yin Xia's perception, but Yin Xie did not find the lotus seeds condensed by Xiaoyan. In the sky at this time, it is already very clear. The blood-colored vortex contains extremely terrifying ghost aura and some blood aura, and the evil yin absorbs power in it to restore its own strength. On the other side, Mu Yingying Tianwo's Sacred Tiger 9 Soul Monument and Chang Yu also stopped their unnecessary struggles, and then looked at Xiaoyan wearing fire armor in the sky. The Do Qi in Tianwo Shengu and Mu Yingying was only half as much, while the Do Qi in Chang Yu and Juhun Monument was even more exhausted at this time. This kid actually has something like a fire elf on his body. Chang Yu couldn't think of it either. This kid has a lot of secrets. Let's not talk about the rarity of this fire elf. Judging from the strength of the fire elf just now, it must be an existence that is comparable to the human 7-star fighting emperor. And that Xiaoyan can make this person willingly call him big brother, this Xiaoyan's personality should be quite convincing. Chang Yu also said slowly. But what is Xiaoyan doing? The Nine Souls tablet laughed, and then there was a hint of doubt in his eyes. This fire elf can actually possess Xiaoyan? After Xiaoyi rushed directly into Xiaoyan's body, an extremely terrifying aura was exuded. This is something that has never happened before. The Nine Soul Steel also stared at Xiaoyan, who was wearing fire armor in front of him, and then said solemnly, "It really didn't happen, but that doesn't mean there is no such possibility." Chong Yu laughed at this moment. "It seems that we have to find some way to pull this Xiaoyan into our burning incense pavilion. After all, this talent and courage can also be ranked in the top 10 among super sects like us. The sectarian competition at that time will definitely be." Chong Yu also quickly calculated in his heart, "Is this Xiaoyan still a human?" Mu Yingying also moved her beautiful eyes slightly, and was obviously moved by Xiaoyan's sudden surge of power. Although Mu Yingying asked herself that her strength was at the peak of the 4-star Do Emperor, she did not dare to do so. To deal with the evil spirits rashly, after all, he is also a real ghost emperor after all. Xinyan 81 Zhang Wian Wang U, Kai 8, approximately 1 ZS. Koem. This sudden surge in strength was not what moved Mu Yingying the most, but what puzzled Mu Yingying the most was the most terrifying and delicate lotus seed in Xiaoyan's hands holding the milky white ancient sword. I don't know why, but Mu Yingying has a vague guess. Even if Xiaoyan, whose strength has reached the level of the 7-star Do Emperor, is wearing fire armor and holding an ancient sword full of purification power, the attack he launches cannot destroy the edge of the blood-colored vortex of the ghost skill cast by the evil spirits, but Xiaoyan's hand is extremely beautiful. The power contained in the lotus seeds is countless times stronger than Xiaoyan's ancient sword. Is this Xiaoyan trying to feign an attack with a milky white ancient sword to cover up the power of the lotus seed, and he will kill him instantly? The heavenly fire sacred tiger on the side also said with some doubts. Although the power in Xiaoyan's body is now filled with the purest fighting qi of the fire elf Xiaoyi, Zhuhanbei and Chongyu who have just appeared, and they have reached the level of the 7-star fighting emperor, the heavenly fire sacred tiger also knows that ghost skill. The firmness of the blood-colored vortex. But the power of the lotus seeds in Xiaoyan's hands is really not small. Even though it's so far apart, I can still feel an aura of destruction. If it were me, there should only be one end. Tianwo Shengu also muttered. Many people on the ground opened their eyes one after another, and then looked around in confusion. They are clearly still in this infernal corpse forest, where they are still in the looting competition. How come they are here? What happened to these thick ghosts and the slightly weird moon in the sky? There are countless questions in everyone's mind. Even in the face of Wu Zhang's inquiries, they couldn't answer them. They just remembered that when they saw the darkness in front of them, they passed out. I was at a loss, and looked up at the two extremely terrifying forces in the sky at almost the same time. One is the black ghost aura with only *** swirls mixed with blood, and the other is the flame aura with the extremely pure purification power of the fire spirit. Which one is stronger and the weaker? Xiaoyan seems to be trying his best to hide something. Mu Feng, who was on the ground, was using almost all of his vindictive energy, but fortunately, with the recovery pill given by Xiaoyan, he felt much better. Mu Feng discovered Xiaoyan's actions when Xiaoyan mobilized his enormous soul power. Could it be? Mu Feng also shrank his pupils tightly, then looked at Luo Guang and the others on the ground. He shouted, "Everyone, give me your power. Quick!" When Luo Guang and Chu Huaniao heard the words, they didn't hesitate. The next moment, one after another terrifying power also spread into Mu Feng's body. Then Mu Feng's heart also moved slightly, and a mysterious blue light instantly covered his body, and then a terrifying force was activated, raising the long sword in his hand and heading towards the blood-colored vortex. It's a little strange that Mu Feng, who has always used a wooden sword, replaced the sword in his hand with a silver sword. On the silver sword body, an aura similar to that of the ghost world suddenly appeared. There seems to be something in the palm of this human kid. The evil spirit in the blood-colored vortex also seemed to have discovered something. Ask for tickets. End of this chapter.